Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little guy right here, Shadows in Kyoto. It's one of the next Emperor S4 games in the same kind of line that Hanamikoji was in. A very quick two-player game that plays pretty fast, but there's a lot of depth, a lot of strategy in it, I think. So it's pretty good. It's one I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and I know I'm kind of spoiling my final thoughts here a little bit, but this is pretty fun. Let me get down to the table and show you how it works, and we'll come back and talk about it a little bit more after that. So in Shadows of Kyoto, there is a number of different ways that the game can end, some resulting in victory for you, others resulting in defeat for you. So basically, the first way you can win the game is by capturing both of your opponent's agents that have real intelligence with them, and that is denoted by the red symbols that are on some of the agents, like so and like so. Each person has two of them denoted down here. Another way that you can win the game is by getting one of your agents that has real intelligence from your side of the board to one of the back row spaces of your opponent, denoting or with the caveat being that green cannot go onto these two spaces and yellow cannot go onto these two spaces respectively. And then finally, another way that the game can end and poorly for you is if you manage to capture three of your opponent's agents that are carrying fake intelligence. In other words, those agents that are sans this little red mark on their person. If you capture 3 out of the 4, you lose because they have basically tricked you, fooled you, and so forth and so on. Each player is going to start with 4 location cards, which have either a colored background or a wild background, and those colors are matching the different colors that are on the board here. So you're going to start with 4 location cards, and then you're also going to start with 2 special move cards in your deck. And of course, you do have 2 decks, your location deck and your special action or your special move deck. Now, there are different kinds of special actions here. For example, a defense allows you to move backwards. So if I have a person up here and I want to be able to move backwards, I can play the defend card and move to any of the adjacent locations to where I am, sideways or backward. It's worthy of note here that this is the only or one of the only ways you can move anything but forward. More often than not, you're going to have to keep moving forward. Bait is a special card where you're going to be able to play this card and then take one of the movement cards that are non-wild, for example, the colored ones here, and place it underneath that. And if an opponent moves into that area, you can push them out. If you want to, you may choose not to. Tunnel is where you can simply move anywhere on a row. So if I have a guy here and I play tunnel, I can move him all the way over here like that. If there are people inside that row, I cannot jump over them. I can just move like so. So that's something to keep in mind as well. That's tunnel. And let's see, I already went over bait. Swap is where you can swap 2 people that are in a row or column. So I could swap these 2 guys like this. Now, you can do this secretly, and where the guy that was originally up here returns there. You can swap them secretly if you choose to do that and want to try to bluff. Or you can switch in a row like so. And again, that can also be done secretly where there is a bluff going on. And there is one other, it's called a charge. And that means you can, for example, if I have a guy here, I can move a guy up and then at the same time move a guy back on my opponent's side. That's what charge does. Now, there are 2 other kinds of cards that you're going to have at your disposal. There are going to be player powers. We'll go over those in just a few moments. But there are also equipment cards. And these equipment cards are such that whenever a person that has a star, one of these 3 different agents or 4 different agents, When one of them is captured by your opponent, you can activate one of these by turning them over, like so. And when it's turned over like this on the colorful side, it is a one-time use for the course of the game. It's one and done. And it's just they're small abilities that provide a little bit of differentiation in play. Not a whole lot, but it does provide a slight variation, which is cool in a game like this. And then finally, you have these special player powers that you will have to choose one of at the beginning of the game, and it is a special power that you will be able to do throughout the entirety of the game. Over on the yellow side or government side, they also have 3 with a 4th. The neutral agent is first available to the government side, the yellow player, along with these. If the yellow player forgoes taking the neutral player, then she becomes available for the other side to choose from. Now, in the course of your turn, you're going to be able to play one card, or you can play one combination of cards. It depends on how it goes. And then you draw back up to 6 cards. When you play a card, you carry out its action, whatever it is, and then you can draw back from either of your decks. It does not have to be the same deck that you played a card from. So, for example, if I wanted to, I can I'm going to play this red movement card here, and I'm going to move this guy up here like that. And then I'm going to draw back. I'm going to choose to draw from the special ability cards like so. And that will be the end of my turn. And then the yellow player will take a look at their cards and do a very similar thing. Let's say they want to go with... They're going to play a yellow card and move up here like that. And then they would draw back, but let's say they want to make sure that they have a lot of good choices for their movement cards, so they decide to draw a movement card instead. And then it comes back to my turn, and I say, okay, well, I think I'm going to play a wild card. Now, wild cards can be used to go on to any of the different locations, of course, the caveat being you can't go here if I'm green, and you can't go here and here if you're yellow. So I'm going to play a wild, and I'm going to attack this player here. Now, when you attack, the defender automatically is revealed. But since this person special ability is in effect, I would also have to reveal myself. Now, this is important because your numbers will beat equal numbers or lower numbers. And the 0 always beats a 3. So here, I don't win, so I have to come back like this, and it will stay revealed. Now, had it been something like this, where I attacked with this guy, he reveals and I reveal, a 1 beats a 1 and a 0. So this would come over and reside here. I have captured that agent, and because of the special power, I had to reveal, so he stays revealed as well. Now, one thing that we have to remember here is that if we get 3 of these fake agents, so to speak, fake agents, then we've lost the game. So this, while it might seem like a cool thing, I've now eliminated one of their pieces, it's actually kind of bad for me as well, because if I get 2 more of these guys, I'm dead in the water. I've lost the game. So yellow comes over here, and they know that 1 is out there, so they're going to, let's see, yeah, that's a bad guy. So we're going to use our wild and move that 3 up here like this. And then we'll draw from this deck, and we're done. Coming back, I know that's probably not a good thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to defend, which means I'm going to move him back like this, and then I'm going to draw up here. I want to try to get one of those swap cards so I can get him back and hidden possibly. So that's the general aspect of the game. You're trying to vie for control over this territory, trying to either capture the 2 real agents with real intelligence, or get one of your real intelligence agents over to my side of the board before I am able to do the same thing. And that's generally how you play Shadows in Kyoto. Let's get to my final thoughts. So, Shadows in Kyoto, that's pretty much how it goes. It's a very simple game. It's kind of a smash-up between Onitama and Stratego. A couple of good games in their own rights, of course, but when they're plastered together with Shadows in Kyoto, especially with the artwork and all of that good stuff, it really comes out to be a pretty neat looking game and a fun game to play at that. So some of the pros here is, first of all, I already mentioned it, the artwork is amazing. I like the fact that all of these characters that are in the game are modestly clad. I like the fact that I don't have to worry about playing this game with my kids and what are they going to think about how the people are dressed in the game. I like that. I think that's a cool thing. On top of that, it's not just the fact that they're, how they're dressed. The artwork is amazing. It's along the same lines as Hanami Koji, and so it's done by the same artist, and I really think that they have just hit this one out of the park. Now, with that being said, the other components are also a bonus. I'm not one for small cards, because I have meat hook for fingers. So that was a little bit of a letdown that the cards were so small. I liked the size of the cards in Hanami Koji a lot better, but I understand that there were more cards in this game, so they were trying to keep it in the same package. I get what they were doing. I just wish I could have had a little bit of a bigger hand of cards. But with all that being said, they are very functional. They're very durable. They're made of good cardstock, a pretty cool linen finish on them and everything like that. So the component quality is great. I just wish they would have been a little bit bigger for my personal tastes. But again, that's just that. Additionally, I think that the gameplay is also very fun and yet also intuitive. You don't have to put a whole lot of thought into the mechanisms of the game. Your thought processes are able to be focused more on strategy and tactics and reacting to what your opponent is doing and so forth and so on. So that's another bonus of the game, and I think that's kind of a moniker of this line of games that's coming out from Emperor S4. They make very simple mechanisms that almost fade away and become very intuitive, so that you don't have to think about what am I supposed to be doing. I'm able to think more about how can I affect my strategy? How can I react to what my opponent just did? And that's where your thought processes are taking you. I like that about these games. It's probably one of the reasons why I'm enjoying these little small games from Emperor S4 so much more, is because I don't have to really think that much about what I'm supposed to be doing. I can just play the game. So that's, I hope you understand what I'm talking about there. I think that's pretty clear, at least from my point of view, but I really enjoy it. Now, a couple of the down things. Now, this is going to be down things for me personally more often than not, but hey, it's my review, right? Had stickers. Now, there weren't a whole lot of stickers. Each of the different meeples that came in the game, the geisha meeples, had to have a sticker put on them that had the number and their identity, so to speak. So that was kind of a bummer. The stickers were really small too, which was kind of fiddly for me. But I really don't like stickers in games. That has not changed. But the fact that there were so few of them helped me get over that a little bit quicker. But I did ham it up with Ilya while we were demoing it at Essen a little bit. But that's neither here nor there. If you enjoyed Hanami Koji, I think you'll also enjoy this one. Now, whether you think which one is better, that'll be left up to you. I still think that this one is slightly a lesser game as far as design and mechanisms and that kind of thing. It seems like it's a little bit old and possibly dated. It goes back, it has a very strong Stratego element to it, and that's a tried and true system, don't get me wrong, but it is also an old system. So it feels a little bit dated, but on the same aspect, it's also fresh because you're able to use those different special movement cards to exact your tactics or your strategies. I like the fact that the equipment cards that are not always used because they're kind of an advanced rule that's added in later on after you have a few games under your belt. They add something new, not a whole lot, but something different that will add to your enjoyment of the game a little bit. I like the fact that they have the different player powers in there as well. The different player powers are great too. They're nothing groundbreaking or ground shattering or anything like that, but it provides a little bit of a different kind of strategy for that game for you. And I've been fortunate enough to either have played or played against all of the different abilities at this point, and they all have a very different feel to it. So that's really cool. I like that a lot. So generally speaking, my rating of this game is going to be, 2 revolvers up, because I'm really enjoying this line of games from Emperor S4. Just very basic, easy to teach 2-player games that have a lot of depth in them as far as how much you need to think about your turn and how you need to react against what your opponent's doing and all of this kind of stuff. Second guessing your opponent. There's a lot of mental gymnastics that's going on here between you and your opponent in this line of games, and I really do like that a lot. So as far as a numerical rating, I'm probably going to give this about a 7 out of 10. It is really a good game. I think I like Hanamikoji slightly better, but again, this is kind of a different feel than Hanamikoji gives you. Hanamikoji is very cranial, but this one is less cranial, more dudes on the map, but it still has that cranial aspect to it. So I like them both a lot. Hanamikoji a little bit better, but Shadows in Kyoto is a great game. If you haven't tried it yet, you really should. That's it from me. We'll see you guys on the flip side.